If Vegas is booming, casinos don't cut dealers. Period. A dealer cut is the canary. On May 28 to May 29, 2025, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, laid off an undisclosed number of table game dealers. Sources told the paper it was dozens, up to 60. This happened at a $3.7 billion mega-resort days before summer. Fontainebleau issued a statement saying it was evaluating business needs and adjusting hiring strategy. I'll show you what this signals about the North Strip and how to spot the next empty pit before the headlines. Every casino floor runs on a basic equation. How many tables can you keep busy, and how many dealers do you need to run them? Dealers are not a fixed cost. They are scheduled in direct proportion to how much action management expects. The more players predicted to show up, the more tables open, the more dealers clock in. When projections are strong, pits are fully staffed and blackjack, roulette, and craps tables hum with activity. But the moment those forecasts wobble, the operational response is immediate. Fewer players walking the floor means tables go dark, pits shrink, and dealer shifts get cut. This is not about trimming fat for Wall Street or squeezing out a few extra points of margin. It is the casino responding to real-time demand, hour by hour, day by day. If the floor is light on players, you will see more closed signs, fewer chips moving, and staff quietly reassigned or sent home. It is a scoreboard you can read without a single spreadsheet. Open tables mean confidence. Closed tables mean caution. Labor is the final lever. Management does not start with layoffs. They start by watching table utilization drop, then close underused games, then finally reduce scheduled dealer hours. If you want to know how Vegas is doing, do not look at the marketing hype. Count how many tables are open during prime time, and watch how quickly the pits shrink when things get slow. That is the real-time pulse of casino demand, no press release required. If Vegas is booming, casinos don't cut dealers. Period. Las Vegas Review-Journal reported on May 28 to 29, 2025, that Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, laid off an undisclosed number of table game dealers. Sources described the cuts as dozens, and some said the number reached as high as 60. Fontainebleau issued a statement saying it was evaluating business needs and adjusting hiring strategy. The move stands out because Fontainebleau opened in December 2023 with a $3.7 billion price tag, only 18 months earlier. The company also said the resort still employs roughly 6,250 people. The refusal to disclose the exact count, combined with the source descriptions, carries weight. Dealers are scheduled to match expected table demand. When demand is soft, casinos do not just lower prices, they close tables, reduce pits, and cut labor. The visible scoreboard is open tables versus closed tables. That is the real indicator of activity on the casino floor. Here are the confirmed facts. The layoffs happened. The precise number was not disclosed. Sources put the range in the dozens, up to 60. Fontainebleau issued a business-focused statement. Inference. This suggests table game volume was not meeting the staffing assumptions Fontainebleau built before opening. When the action falls short, the dealer count falls too. If you want Vegas coverage with receipts, not recycled rumors, hit like and subscribe. I track the real signals behind empty Vegas, especially when North Strip operators start pulling levers you can see on the casino floor. Fontainebleau, Las Vegas opened in December 2023. It arrived on the North Strip with a $3.7 billion promise of luxury and scale. Center Strip casinos benefit from a constant churn of walk-in players, tourists drifting from one marquee to the next. Up north, that steady parade thins fast. Fontainebleau sits outside the Strip foot traffic core, so it cannot count on a river of casual gamblers to fill tables on a Tuesday afternoon. The Review-Journal reported Fontainebleau has struggled to build the massive player database needed to keep a mega resort humming. For a property of this size, Relying on the idea that if you build it, they will come does not cut it. Repeat players, convention bookings, and targeted marketing matter more here than anywhere else in town. A mega resort cannot survive on vibes. It needs bodies on the casino floor. Without a deep, reliable pool of players, even the most impressive gaming pit starts to feel empty. Strip gaming revenue has been slipping for months. From February through April 2025, year over year, numbers stayed in the red, and the 10-month tally put the Strip down more than 3%. That is not a blip. That is a pattern. Operators across the boulevard have been watching the same trend: fewer dollars flowing into the pit and less cushion to ride out a slow quarter. April 2025 occupancy data told the same story. Weekends held up, but midweek bookings dropped, leaving large blocks of rooms and tables empty right when North Strip properties need steady traffic the most. When the Center Strip can still pull in crowds on a Wednesday, the North End feels every gap. Midweek weakness matters. Fox 5 added another layer in June 2025, citing LVCVA numbers that showed visitor volume dipping and more guests pushing back on prices and fees. That single note on price sensitivity is not the headline, but it is a warning light for every operator trying to fill tables without discounting the house. The pressure is not isolated to one resort. It is industry-wide. Fontainebleau just happens to be the newest and the most exposed. Regulators added another layer of pressure for Fontainebleau, just as the property was recalibrating its staffing. During licensing proceedings for President Maurice Wooden in May 2025, the Nevada Gaming Control Board disclosed an ongoing investigation into whether Fontainebleau's credit issuance practices complied with Bank Secrecy Act anti-money laundering standards. The probe focused on how the casino extended credit to gamblers, and that credit process, if not airtight, can trigger regulatory alarms and force management to revisit risk controls. Despite the active investigation, Maurice Wooden received a 2-year gaming license. Still, even the hint of regulatory scrutiny can have ripple effects on operations and strategy. Compliance reviews demand executive bandwidth and legal resources, and they can make a casino less aggressive about courting certain customer segments or approving high-dollar play on credit. Compliance work draws attention away from growth initiatives. The timing meant Fontainebleau faced not just soft demand and a challenging location, but also the distraction of an open probe hanging over its operations. For a property trying to build momentum and fill tables, that is one more headwind in the mix. If Vegas is booming, casinos don't cut dealers. Period. On May 28th to 29th, 2025, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported Fontainebleau, Las Vegas laid off an undisclosed number of table game dealers. Sources told the paper the cuts were dozens and as many as 60. Fontainebleau issued a statement about evaluating business needs and adjusting hiring strategy. I will show you what that signals about the North Strip and how to spot it before the headlines. Dealers are scheduled to match expected table demand. When the math for tables comes up short, casinos do not lower prices first. They close tables, reduce pits, and cut labor. Think of open tables versus closed tables as the real scoreboard. This is a straightforward operational lever, and it moves fast. The confirmed points on Fontainebleau are simple. Layoffs were reported. The exact number was not disclosed. Sources gave a range that included dozens and up to 60. Fontainebleau also released a statement about evaluating business needs and adjusting hiring strategy. Inference: it suggests table game volume was not meeting staffing assumptions. If you want Vegas coverage with receipts, not recycled rumors, hit like and subscribe. I track the real signals behind empty Vegas, especially on the North Strip. Foot traffic clusters on the Center Strip. North Strip properties need a stronger mix of destination draws, convention flow, repeat players, and reliable transportation patterns to fill a huge casino floor. The Review-Journal noted Fontainebleau has struggled to build the player base needed for a mega property. A mega resort cannot survive on vibes, it needs bodies on the casino floor. The broader signal is clear in the numbers. The Review Journal noted Strip gaming revenue was down year over year for 3 straight months, February to April. Strip gaming win was down 3% through 10 months of the fiscal year. In April 2025, hotel occupancy was down, with midweek occupancy weaker even as weekends held stronger. When midweek softens, the North Strip feels it first, with fewer accidental gamblers wandering in. There is a complication layer. Review Journal reporting tied Fontainebleau's struggles to executive turnover and a regulatory anti-money laundering investigation disclosed during licensing proceedings. The Nevada Independent reported the property was under investigation by state gaming regulators for potential anti-money laundering issues based on licensing materials for President Maurice Wooden. KSNV News 3 also reported on that investigation. Even the perception of extra scrutiny can change how aggressively a casino courts certain business. What to watch for next, a practical checklist you can use on a midweek visit. Between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., count the number of open table games. Open table counts are the primary signal. Look for closed signs, dark tables, or entire pits empty. If roulette and craps go dark midweek, that is a specific indicator those games were shuttered first. Note minimum bets. Fewer tables with higher minimums mean management is concentrating action on a smaller set of players. Track language in public statements. More mentions of staffing optimization, evaluating business needs, or similar phrasing often precede additional labor moves. Watch promotions. An increase in locals and midweek targeted promos without explicit admission of softness is a sign they are buying traffic, not growing organic demand. Anyone can walk a casino floor and spot these demand signals if you know where to look. Start with the basics. Count open table games between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. on a midweek night. If blackjack, roulette, and craps tables are dark or showing closed signs, that is a direct readout of soft action. Fewer tables and higher minimums show concentrated play. Watch for dealers standing idle or pits sitting empty. Roulette and craps typically disappear first because they need more staff. Finally, listen for corporate lingo in statements like staffing optimization or adjusting to business needs. Want receipts? Take a time-stamped walk and count for yourself. Fontainebleau cutting dealers is the cleanest sign yet that the North Strip is still fighting for consistent demand, and corporate fixes start with payroll. Comment North Strip. If you want a follow-up where I do a real walkthrough audit, counting how many tables are open at Fontainebleau versus Resorts World versus Wynn on a midweek night, with time-stamped receipts. Fontainebleau cutting dealers is the cleanest sign yet that the North Strip is still fighting for consistent demand, and corporate fixes start with payroll. Comment North Strip. If you want a follow-up where I do a real walkthrough audit, how many tables are open at Fontainebleau versus Resorts World versus Wynn on a midweek night, with time-stamped receipts. That is how you track the actual pulse of casino demand. No marketing spin, just open tables and real numbers. When a $3.7 billion mega resort quietly cuts dozens of table game dealers, it is not just a staffing tweak, it is a neon warning. In Vegas, labor goes first when foot traffic fades. For the North Strip, the real gamble now is whether demand rebounds or the layoffs keep coming. Drop your take below.